The Minnesota summer is short, the growing conditions challenging.
You'll see when you're out here in June that the work was worth it.
That's why it's so amazing that gardeners around the state can create such stunning beauty in their backyards. Tonight, come along and meet some of the state's magnificent gardeners.
What I wanted basically was a world-class garden.
Less than a dozen people have ever seen the most spectacular private garden in Minnesota.
Now we're in the Monet Garden.
See how the homeowner created it as we take you on an exclusive on-the-road tour. I'm Jason Davis. Come along and meet some of Minnesota's finest green thumbs.
When we go on the road, there's a place I want to see. When we go on the road, why don't you come with me? Take a little ride, get a little windshield time. When we go on the road.
It's been described as one of the gardens to see before you die. In the western suburbs of the Twin Cities, at the end of a plain gravel road, these gates hide a veritable jewel of a garden. 26 acres of flowers, shrubs, and trees, elegantly punctuated with statues, walkways, and promenades, all created by a self-taught gardener who wanted a traditional English garden at home. The sheer size and scale of this place rivals many of Minnesota's public gardens, but it's for the private pleasure of one man and his family. So let's watch the glory of the seasons unfold in Wallace Garden. Retiree Wally Marks is the same as any other Minnesota gardener. He gets excited when he digs into the dirt for the first time in the spring.
Let's try this one, okay?
Wally and his 3-year-old grandson Hank are searching for the elusive canes of roses. The bushes lay buried beneath the soil, protected all winter long from the elements, and he's hired extra help to raise 275 of them.
Most of them are hybrid teas, floribundas and grandifloras, but you'll see when you're out here in June that the work was worth it.
Slowly, the sleepy garden is unveiled, from perennials to decorative urns.
It's the only one I know of in this part of the country.
To remarkable statues, like this half-size version of Michelangelo's David.
I know of the few people who have ever toured the garden, if the fig leaf weren't there, they'd be too distracted.
Wally Marks built his entire career on finding ways to catch people's eye. This is the marketing whiz who introduced America to things like liquid soft soap and Clairol Herbal Essence shampoo. When he sold his own company and retired in 2000, this very active man wasn't about to rein in his award-winning imagination.
I had just yellow paper, my son's Snoopy ruler, and a pen. And when I
And a dream.
I'd start drawing things.
Wally visited several famous formal gardens in England in the early 90s, and he came back determined to create one of his own. Since Wally is no horticulturalist, he had to learn everything from books.
I planted some marigolds once at a place we lived, but that was it.
Where did you get all this knowledge about the plants? From the books that you've got?
From the books and the catalogs.
In place of the muddy horse pasture next to his house, Wally planned a 300-foot-long stretch of 10 formal gardens or rooms, geometric plots separated by hedges, stone walls and walkways, gently sloping upwards from the house. Then he filled in the blanks with hundreds of kinds of plants, shrubs and trees, and told the landscapers he wanted to be able to see it all from his favorite chair. After all, this is Wallace Garden.
I had them run a line from the chair to that tree on the other side of the lattice house.
By June, the view is already magnificent.
If we walk down this vista, you can travel down and you can see the whole purpose.
Large blooms of white fleece flower, dark coral bells and gull-wing irises adorn this living room of black and white.
The leaves go out to the side almost as though it were a gull flying.
A circular stone path leads visitors past a stunning display of roses.
We walk up 2 or 3 steps, and it's a whole new experience.
Hardy climbers frame the picturesque entrance to the most colourful scene yet. 4 steel arches form a centre aisle that provides seasonal drama. In June, they drip with delicate lavender wisteria and orange honeysuckle, flanked by soft pink roses. In July and August, 6-foot-tall black-eyed Susans tower over the path, surrounded by 1 and 2 colour flower beds that grow lush and full. In September, orange nasturtium starts across the stones. This is Wally's homage to artist Claude Monet's famous garden in France.
I think I've captured it quite well.
But his primary love affair with the English garden does not stop here.
We end up at the moon window, looking out at a large ash tree.
Beside the flower gardens, Wally even designed a formal area for fruits and vegetables. A temple walk with a golden surprise at the end of it. And across a green meadow, a blossom garden tucked in behind massive antique wrought iron gates from Argentina. These are just the highlights of Wally's 26 planted acres, which he calls low maintenance.
4 people come in on Thursdays, and I do a little bit.
The best way to see the amazing feat accomplished by this Twin Cities businessman in just 7 years is from the air. It's also the only way to view a 100-foot wide traditional Chinese yin and yang symbol formed out of tall shrubs.
Far exceeds my imagination. I have a good imagination. What I wanted basically was a world-class garden.
The Wallace Gardens, as they are now known, are featured in a new book about the world's finest 1001 gardens. They've also won high praise from one of England's top gardeners, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales.
Prince Charles sent me a couple personal letters. He loves the garden too.
Fall has arrived and there's still plenty to look at in Wally's garden, like the frilly ornamental grasses and rosy apples in the orchard.
That's Eagle Mountain quartz.
Quartz in there.
Yet, in spite of the grandeur of the place, Wally admits less than a dozen people have actually seen it. This is clearly a private refuge for one self-taught gardener.
I put it together for myself as a place to be. Every other week, it changes into a different garden, and they're great wonders, depending on the light, depending on what's blooming, and depending on the time of year. It's just marvelous.